that the video does end up beat. By showing the love the parents have for their kids, the music changes. They're hugging their kids. They state their commitment in finding a cure for their children as the ultimate hope and their lifelong battle to save their children. Perhaps life would be better, the grass always greener, if we can just live someone else's life, or a fantasized life. Wouldn't it be better if we found that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow rather than recognizing the treasures we have today? Well, I won't argue that we as autistic families do need some special attention. I will say that there are many challenges that parents face with any child, any day, and that we need to find a balanced representation reflecting how autistic people want to be represented alongside a supportive, compassionate, and empowering portrayal of autism for parents. So, we also have to question this, a puzzle piece used to represent and symbolize autistic children. We know that symbols are extremely powerful. Here, the puzzle piece stands alone. It is isolated from the whole. It is a piece without the rest, a body alone like a ship adrift, suggesting that there is something missing that we must find, or that autistic people are perhaps not part of the greater whole. Others find the symbol innocuous, thinking it benevolent to unravel the mystery of autism. But whose mystery is it really? Is it the autistic persons, those who say that autism is a part of who they are and that they know no other way to be? Or is the mystery ours, the problem ours, in lacking the time and patience and understanding autism and listening to autistic people because it requires our effort? It is puzzling to me that the onus is on our innocent kids to look normal, or to become indistinguishable, or to fit into society rather than celebrating their difference or diversity. After all, the only normal I know is diversity. Autistic self-advocates have railed against this campaign, stating, "I am not a puzzle or a mystery." There is an online petition against Autism Speaks called "Autism Speaks, Don't Speak for Me." Does Autism Speaks have the right to market themselves on speaking on behalf of autistic children when they exclude autistic people from their board, or especially when they don't even seem to want to listen? As a mother of an autistic child, I would hate for Adam to have to face this, but I anticipate he will. I want him to be heard, to have a voice, and I want to learn from autistic people for his benefit. Autism Speaks seems to be so busy trying to make my son not autistic that they seem to be devaluing his community, his culture, and do not protect his spirit. Prejudice is best described as applying a different set of standards to one set of people over another. We have to consider that we would not like to be referred to this way, as a puzzle. We would not wish to be segregated and isolated, if not downright targeted. In this autism rhetoric poster from autistics.org, autistic self-advocates jest at the odds in having an autistic child against the odds of making an autistic person, quote, "feel like garbage when reading the autism epidemic hype." I'll just read what those numbers stand for on their poster. 12 stands for the number of kinds of sick animals autistics have been compared to. 80 is the percentage of parents of autistic kids who don't believe that autism is inherited. 99 stands for the number of professionals profiting from spreading the autism epidemic myth. 90 is the percentage of statistics that are made up or misrepresented. 0 is the number of autistics that anyone listens to. 5 is the number of autism researchers who care about autistics. And the end of the poster says, "Don't succumb to the plague rhetoric plague." So what does this tell us? We have to look at ourselves and the ways we have viewed and stereotyped disability, and consider the way it infiltrates the way we do research and teach in our schools, our mini societies, as it were. By examining the way that autism is represented in the media, among autism charities, therapists, and scientists, we can consider that bias and prejudice is not limited to race and religion, but also to people with disabilities, which is the most tolerated and subtle form of prejudice today. Where we live in a society that glorifies celebrities, who in turn support causes about which many of them understand little, where philanthropy is the new black, we reflect little on the consequences of what we support. In short, it is probably worthy of our consideration when the disabled community says en masse, we do not need another Jerry Lewis. This was the title of a blog post I wrote about a year ago, The Economy of Pity. And my background is unique in discussing this. I began my circuitous career, I call it, as a curator of art. Then I was the director of a large event. And then I was a corporate fundraiser and marketer for 2 major health charities. I have surmised that my ability to do the latter came from the need to ask for money in the arts. It's a difficult task in Canada, as many don't love to fund the arts there, to my chagrin. After Adam was diagnosed with autism and Nara came to Toronto, and after converting to a Jewish family entrenched in the ideal of tzedakah, which means helping those in need, it seemed natural to raise money for autism. But I didn't want to bemoan the fact that I had an autistic son or talk about the burden on me. I wanted to raise awareness, talk about acceptance, and inspire others. What I do not accept are appeals for money in autism that incite fear and pity. Adam doesn't need pity. He needs empathy and acceptance. He needs to be valued and included in all ranks of society. He needs others to think about how to accommodate him in order for him to achieve his desires. As this former marketer for health charities, I am more than aware of the need and effectiveness of using the word cure for raising money. After all, I was the developer of the first online Click for a Cure campaign for the Arthritis Society. When I spoke to Alicia Halliday, then Associate Director of Research and Programs at NAR, she said it's the only way we can raise money. And I had to question the ethics of it, particularly after discussing this with Dr. Wendy Roberts, who said, there will never be a cure for autism. Big business relies on this desperate search to cure autism and sells everything from chelation therapy, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, and all kinds of therapies with the goal to make the autistic person less autistic or indistinguishable from their peers. We've seen a surge of book sales on autism, many of which portray autism as strange, alien, and sick, and they have promoted anecdotal solutions to remedy autism, none of which yet have a sound scientific base. So, to portray autism as a fate worse than cancer, and therefore referring to autistic people as perhaps more dead than alive, is not an accurate portrayal of autism. But for those who capitalize on that comparison, this attacker, this autism, it seems, must have a war waged against it in order to beat it. This war, thanks to Don Imus and Autism Speaks, has gone straight to the President of the United States, who has signed the Combating Autism Act, perhaps as reflectively, in my opinion, as he sent in troops to Iraq. So it seems that fear, pity, and a thriving autism economy go hand in hand here. After making hundreds of solicitations to corporations over myself over the years, it is apparent to me that corporate philanthropy is based on tit for tat and good exposure, otherwise known as cause marketing. No one really thinks twice about the pity they disperse anymore. Pity is one and the same, it just makes us look plain good. There is little discrimination going on in the world about who